Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be ranking all of the concealers and powders that I tried in 2022. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Okay, so both of these categories were a little smaller with how many I tried out, so I thought I would just combine the two. So let's start with concealer. With concealers this year, I tried out 6 different concealers, which is a lot for me personally, and in general, I suppose, but I honestly didn't try any that I did not like. So let's just hop right into it. At number 6 is the Revlon Colorstay Skin Awaken 5-in-1 Concealer. This is a good one. This is a really nice drugstore option. This does have the puffball applicator, just like the Maybelline Age Rewind. You just squeeze it up and then apply. So I think that's why I put this one at the very bottom, simply because I do not like this type of applicator for concealers. It's just not the most sanitary. I would prefer a doe foot, and it just gets really messy in the cap. This is a very light coverage concealer. This is not going to be super heavy. This is not going to erase all your dark circles. It's very thin in consistency, and it is very light coverage. It's just going to kind of pull everything together and make you look a little bit more awake, a little bit more alive, but not really provide any heaviness under the eyes, which I really like. It's just that it's definitely more for a lighter makeup day, or maybe you don't have a lot of dark circles under your eyes. I think you might really like this. I do love it because it is so lightweight, but this one is number 6. Coming in at number 5 is a concealer that I feel like everybody loved this year. This is the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Concealer, and this is a good one. The packaging is really pretty. This is another one that is very thin, very lightweight. It says that it's full coverage, but I think it's more of a medium in my own opinion. I have the shade LG3, and my thing with this one is it's definitely more yellow tone, which I do not like. And also I have complaints about the packaging itself. It's just really tight, it's hard to get out, and it's hard to get the wand back in, so I don't like that. Otherwise, I do think this is a really nice concealer. Again, very thin, very lightweight, but also gives a nice medium coverage, which I of course love. I just don't like the tone of this shade in particular, and all the others seem to have that same sort of yellow tone to them. And then of course the packaging issue with this one is what makes me not want to reach for it as much as I reach for some of my others. So this one is good, but there are some that I just like more. Coming in at number 4 is from Too Faced, and this is the Born This Way Ethereal Light Illuminating Smoothing Concealer. This is a really nice one. I love the packaging. I think it's so beautiful with the gold and the pink. I think that's gorgeous. I like the shape of the doe foot. It really lets you get in there really nicely. The shade does not pull yellow. It's a perfect concealer with a pinky undertone, which is my preference. I really do like this one. It does have a bit of an illuminating effect under the eyes. So if you're not into that, I would just recommend using a more matte powder to kind of set things down. But it definitely does brighten, and it gives good medium coverage. It looks really pretty under the eyes. It blends out really nicely. It's not too thick. It looks really nice. I would say it's probably not the most long wearing, and it definitely has a little bit more radiance than I would personally prefer under the eyes. But overall, I do think this is a really nice concealer. I think Too Faced did a really great job with this one. I am definitely in the minority of people who do not love the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, but I really do like this one. Coming in at number 3 is another drugstore concealer that is so good. This is the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. So this comes in a pump, which is unique in my collection at least. You can also see in the bottle how much you've used. This is definitely on the lighter coverage end of the spectrum. It looks really, really nice. It's very lightweight. Definitely better for a lighter makeup day. It looks really nice under the eyes, and it really just gives you that pulled together look, which I really enjoy. The price point is good for this one. The color is good. I like that it comes in a pump. I think this is a really great concealer. People have been raving about this one this year, and I think it's worth it. It is a really good one. Okay, my 1 and 2 spots were a little bit harder to place, But coming in at number 2, I put the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. I like this one. I have the shade, I think I've been forgetting to tell you guys the shade. In the Too Faced, I'm the shade Oatmeal, and in the NYX, I am the shade Fair. And now to the Huda Beauty, I am the shade 1.1N Royal Icing. I like this. So this is definitely a lot heavier than any of the other concealers that I have today. Definitely more coverage than any of the others, and it is much more matte. It's not too matte, so don't let that frighten you, but I do really like the shape of this doe foot. I think it's really, really nice. I like how it really gets in there, covers everything up, but it is really soft. I really do like this. I love the coverage that it gives. I love how easy it is to blend out. If anything, this reminds me quite a lot of my One Size concealer that I love so much, and I think that's why I do enjoy this. I like the packaging. The little square design is unique. I like that. So I really have been enjoying this one. And the one that surprised me as being my number 1 this year is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer. So this one actually came out around the same time as the Too Faced, and they both have that radiant property to them. So I have the shade Too Fair, and I think this is really, really nice. This has a really small doe foot, so you can really get into that corner, but this is also a medium coverage hydrating concealer. It does have that radiance to it, but it's not so much. I also find it much more long wearing than the Too Faced concealer. So this one, I guess, is my favorite of the year. This one really kind of surprised me once I realized that this is the one I try to reach for every time. This is the one I love the most. So number 1 has to be the Charlotte Tilbury. So let's talk about the powders. I have 5 powders. Some of these are powder foundations, but I don't typically use a powder foundation for all over the skin because I do have dry skin, and I can't seem to get away with that. Coming in at number 5 is from SheGlam, and this is the Insta Ready Face and Under Eye Setting Duo. So with this one, you get a pressed powder up top, and if you take off the lid, you have a loose powder underneath. I like the pressed powder. I don't like the setting powder. So because I only like half the product, I did not rank this one very high. The loose powder just makes me look too dry and heavy. But the under eye powder actually is very, very nice for under the eyes. I really do enjoy that. And this is also in the shade Translucent. And coming in at number 4, I have the NARS Light Reflecting Powder in the shade Translucent Crystal. So this is a mini. This was a sample size I got as a Sephora perk, but this is one that I wanted to try for a long time. So this is more of a baked gelée formula. I feel like this gets hard panned really, really easily, which is very annoying considering the price point that you pay for NARS. I'm a big fan of NARS in general, but not so much this product. It looks fine. I don't feel like it really sets the makeup, maybe as more of a finishing powder, but you do want to kind of watch where you put it because it does have an illuminating property to it, but otherwise I really don't feel like it does much, and because it does get hard pan, I don't highly recommend this one. This one just isn't at the top of my list. And coming in at number 3 is from e.l.f., and this is their Camo Powder Foundation. So I have this shade Fair 120N, and I do feel like the shade pulls a little too yellow for being a neutral shade, which I don't like. So for me, this powder works really well for touch-ups, for perfecting the makeup. If there are any flaws in my foundation and I just need something to fix it, this will do that. I really do like that. If I need a little more coverage in certain areas, this will do that. I really do like this powder. So I have not tried to use this all over the face to act as my foundation just because, again, I have very dry skin. I do not think that this will work the best for that, but this is really great to add extra coverage or to fix imperfections. So I really, really do like this. I think this is a great powder. I don't like that the shade pulls a little bit yellow, but overall I do think this is a really great powder. Coming in at number 2 is from L'Oreal, and this is the Age Perfect Creamy Powder Foundation, and I have this shade 300 Ivory. This is an all-over powder foundation. I have tried it that way because it does describe itself as a creamy powder foundation, and I think it works pretty well. If you have dry skin and you are looking to use a powder as a foundation, I would highly recommend this one to you because this is the least dry of all powder foundations I've ever tried. I took a risk on this one because it described itself as a creamy powder, and this is definitely the best I have tried in the way of powder foundations. So I would recommend this. I think this is a phenomenal powder. It's at the drugstore. L'Oreal doesn't do much wrong when it comes to foundations or mascaras, in my opinion. This is a good one. And finally, coming at number 1 is from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Airbrush Brightening Flawless Finish Powder. I love this so much. So I do have the shade Fair to Medium, which is more of a translucent. This is the most brightening powder, but it is also so blurring. So I love to use this to set the under eyes, and I like to even use it around my nose because it really blurs pores in the most beautiful way. I think she did such a great job with this formula. This is supposed to be the same formula as her regular Airbrush Flawless powder, but this is so much better in my opinion. There's something about it that is just more blurring, and I really, really love this. If you're looking to get more coverage, I would go with the original Airbrush powder, but if you just want something that's going to brighten and blur, this will do it. This is so good. I love this powder so much, and I've been trying to work on a powder in my project pan, and that is the only reason I have not hit pan on this yet, because otherwise I probably would have. But that is it for this ranking. Those are all of the concealers and powders I tried out in 2022. Let me know down below what your favorites of the year were. Did you try out any of the ones I tried? Let me know. I love hearing from you guys. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!